Alright, it's day number 81 of my talking in front of the camera, trying to enhance my ability to speak English and improve colloquial English. So, today I'm gonna answer some questions about education. I remember I was talking about this topic previously, but I got asked in the comments by one guy to answer those questions. So, it's not a big deal, and I guess I can answer them again because I guess it was about 50 days ago, so I can't remember my answers, and every time, even if I repeat some topics, anyway, my answers will be unique and not really similar. Now, it's probably possible to be similar a bit to each other, but not that much. So let's just get started. And today, by the way, I would like also to go outside in the garden to answer those questions, but it's it's not raining outside at the moment, but generally today it's overcast and it's rain every now and then. So it's possible that if I went outside, it would start. Uh, it would start the rain. So, or it just would start rain. All right. So never mind, and let's just get started. And the topic is education, and let's talk about your education and study habits. What was your favorite subject in school? Um, I guess it's pretty obvious answer, but of course, when I was going to the school, I really liked how does it called? Um, like to do some sport. Let me check. I really forgot just how does calls one subject when you do some sport. Um, Physical education. All right, let's call it physical education. So I was really enjoying physical education because it was a great ability to got some team to play football, to play volleyball, basketball. No matter, I really liked each sport that we could play. I really enjoyed doing it, and that's why physical education or wait, physical education was one of my favorite subjects, but I do have several more, and I'm just going to talk about it later because in second part I have to talk about uh, also the subjects that I enjoy to do. So yeah, as I said, like my favorite subject was physical education. So, do you prefer studying in the morning or evening? To be honest, I rather prefer to study in the morning. However, in the past, I really enjoyed to study in the evening when it's midnight, nobody distract you, nobody touch you, and you're able just to focus to study a bit. But it was time when I didn't have kind of sleep schedule, and I didn't really care about it. So I I didn't really study a lot in the time, and I really enjoyed to do it during the night. Alright, I got interrupted, and to be honest, I don't really remember what I was talking about. But the main opinions that I would like to say is that nowadays I prefer to study in the morning, because in the morning I feel that my mind is fresh. It isn't full of unnecessary things that I could think about in the evening, and yeah, I just feel more productive because in closer to the evening I just want to wind down, to relax, and to not knock down. I just want to chill a bit. So Of course, I'd rather prefer to study in the morning. Also, the earlier time is, the better I feel. For example, if I would wake up at if I woke up at for example 6 a.m., I would feel very good, and I would study really productively. Like it's not a big deal, it's not a problem to study for 5 hours if I would start, for example, uh, at 6 a.m. So at the morning I feel much more better when I need to study, and yeah, I'd rather prefer to study in the morning. All right, have you ever taken online classes? Yes, of course. I'm sure that almost each person in the universe took those classes because, for example, during the time when we had coronavirus, uh, we couldn't go outside. We had to stay at home, and we had to continue somehow our education. And it was like first experience of online classes. Yep, yep, online classes, and I can really say that I hated it in that time. For me, it was a unique experience. All right, so for me, it was like unique experience, and especially it was end of the school, if I'm not mistaken, of my school, and I didn't really like to study in that time. For me, it was a great opportunity just to waste some time, not to study, and to spend more time like playing games or something like this. So yes, of course, in this life, and after that, when the war started in the Ukraine 3 years ago, I had to leave my uh, neighborhood, and yeah, and I also had online classes like almost for 2 years until I graduated from the college. So yes, I had a bunch of I mean that I had a bunch of online classes during my life, especially over the past like 5 years, So yep, I definitely know this feeling and know what's that like online classes. All right, do you enjoy learning new things outside of school? Yes, and I can definitely say that yes, because personally, I realized several years ago that it's incredible experience, it's incredible opportunity when you can go to the school and you can see your classmates, when you can see your educator, when you can connect in real life somehow. It feels much more better. The surrounding don't allow you to do another stuff. For example, during the online classes, you can pick up your phone, open some applications, Instagram, start watching reels. You can do it during the lesson in the school. So the atmosphere, the vibe allows you to study properly and without distractions. So of course, I think that it would be better to go outside to the school and to study there, to learn something new uh, in that place. All right, let's move on and now describe a subject you enjoyed studying in school. You should say what the subject was, who taught it, what you learned from it, and explain why you enjoyed studying it. All right, I'm going to talk. As I mentioned in the beginning, I really liked physical education, and I really enjoyed it. But except that subject, I really liked the math. I don't know why, but um, kind of math. It was something interesting for me during whole time in the school because it was a subject when I needed to add some numbers to not to add some numbers, and I mean, uh, it was the only subject when I didn't need to cramming anything. I mean, when you learn history, geography, biology, you have to read a lot, you have to consume that boring information, process it in your mind, but you don't need to do it when you are studying math, because there are some rules, there are logic, and you are just solving those tasks. And it was really interesting to me. I remember especially first 5 years in the school, math was the easiest subject for me, and the easier probably subject for me. And a bit later it became harder, but anyway I still enjoyed it. And I even remember time uh, when I skipped school for a week, for 2 weeks, because of my illness, and then I returned and we had to write a just calls, bro. Let me check. Control work? I don't think so. All right, control work. Put it in this way. So we had to write a control work, and I wrote it like perfectly because I was studying at home with my dad when I skipped. You know, it was the time when I skipped some classes of math, and I had to study it on my own. But it was hard to study on my own, and my dad is so good in math, so I always asked him in the evening to help me, and he did it. And I don't know how, but with him I understood everything. Also, he forced me to learn everything properly, so it was like I, in my mind it was like understandable, you know. So I can say that I really enjoyed of our educator. Like I had a good teacher in the school who studied me that math, but I can say that it was like my favorite educator. Also, I can say that it somehow helped me in my life, because I didn't I didn't apply those knowledge after school, you know. So I learned it, then I forgot it, and now I don't apply it anything. So it just in the moment was an interesting subject that I like to study, that I like to learn, and nothing else. I don't know, nothing else. All right, let's move on. Let's talk more about modern education systems and challenges. So, what are the difference between the education system in your country and other countries? All right. Thank God I know about difference of education in my country and different countries. It really depends on the country, to be honest, because I definitely know that, for example, in Ukraine, we have a really hard study system, and to excel academically, you have to put a bunch of efforts. For real, you have to study around the clock, because we have a lot of subjects that we have to study simultaneously, and we kind of rushing it. And I don't understand why, because I was so much time I was nervousing so much time during the important test. By the way, this control work that I said previously is kind of test. So during those tests, uh, I was really nervous and I felt really ugly. Then if I get and usually I was getting bad grades. So when I get those, when I got, how to say, so when I get bad grades, my parents wasn't satisfied because of that, and I was restricted, for example, to play games, and it was so sad for me because I wasn't motivated at all to study. It wasn't interesting for me. It was hard because I had to study 6, 7, 10 subjects simultaneously every day, from day to day, constantly new topics. It's impossible to live in this space. So I guess that study system it's terrible in Ukraine, because when I arrived in the Belgium, I went in the same class that I visited in Ukraine, and they were studying the they were studying some topics that I finished like several years ago in the school. And for me, it was pretty surprising because they are not in a rush. For example, in Europe, people are not in a rush. They don't try to study so fast as it works in Ukraine. And it's very good because children, kids, they are not overstressing, they are not overstudying, and they enjoy of this process. And this information, um, how to say it? All right, this information stay like in their mind better, you know, and I I'm not aware about another systems. I know barely about another countries in Europe. I know pretty well about Belgium education system and about Ukrainian education system. So comparing Ukrainian and Belgium education system, it looks like Ukrainian is faster. You can study faster, you can work faster, you can absorb more information, but in reality it doesn't work like this, and it's like terrible system of education. And in Belgium, when they're not in a rush, they're absorbing information slower but better, and as a result they're kind of, in long run, it works better, and yeah, it works better. So let's move on. Do you think students today face more pressure than in the past? Why? I don't really think that nowadays students face more pressures than in the past, because nowadays we have better educators. At least in the past, I remember different stories, how how did it work in the past, and the educators were so profession that they were so good in their field as they are today, so they weren't like professionals. Of course, today it's also common to find those kind of educators, but anyway, this condition and quality of education is better. So I think that today is not that much pressure as it was in the past, to be honest. I don't know, I just have this opinion. However, I know that there are a lot of pressure for students, for those who just starting to study in the school. But anyway, I don't know why, but in my opinion, in the past it was harder, and the pressure was definitely higher. All right, what is the role of teachers in modern education? Has it changed? No, I don't really think that it really changed, because the only role of teachers is teach. They have to teach students, but to be honest, at the same time, it's not only about teachings. They have to be kinda psychologists, psychologists. So they have to be aware about basic psychology, to understand how does work kids' minds, that how to treat them. It's very important to understand it, to realize it, to not to be just an enemy for kids, instead to be their friend, you know. And it requires some knowledge, it requires some understanding how does work. So teachers, their role is not to kill our perception of the study, because when I left my school, my perception of the study was like, it's something ugly, I don't want to study in this life, I want to do anything but not to study. So they have to keep our desire to study, and they have to teach us. Basically, they have to teach us and kinda be our friends. It will be just perfect for it. So only um, three roles, I guess, they do have nowadays. Alright, is it better for students to study alone or with others? Why? Um, I guess it will be better to study with someone because it really depends on the subject, on circumstances, on the subject, and do study with teacher or no, with educator or without it, without him, because generally it will be better to study alone. So when you have private teacher related to some subject to improve your knowledge in specific subject, so it's kind of better because you work for one person, one educator, all attention is for you, and it's very productively. But if you're talking about studying without educator, when there are just a group of people or you're alone, it's probably will be better to work with group, because you will have some competition, like in my case, for example, I have desire to be better than others in that group, and if they're better, I have more desire to study, to learn something, to be at least the same as them, or even better. And also you can hear another opinion, you can find another approaches how to study, how to learn something, and it's pretty precious, you know. So it really depends on circumstance, I can say. But generally, for example, for me, probably I would study in the group, to be with someone and to be constantly motivated to uh, develop, to learn something new, and just improve myself. All right. How can schools help students develop soft skills such as teamwork or communication? To be honest, it's crucial subjects uh, that are not taught around the world, unfortunately. Not even around the world. I don't know about world, I know about Ukraine, because in my opinion the most important that you can do in this life is be aware how to communicate with people. Everything works due to communication. When you need to go somewhere, when you need to work with someone, when you need to sell something, uh, no matter what's going on, you have to communicate with people, and you have to be aware how to do it properly. So it's very important, yeah, teamwork, also how to be productive, more productive when you are working the team, not just for no reason to keep several people inside for no reason. And school, to develop those skills, they should to establish some subjects to provide us with that information, because nowadays there are no knowledge about it at school, and they're studying us about biology, about some bullshit that we don't need in this life, but they don't teach us about the most important things, about communication and teamwork. However, it's like essential. And when we are leaving our school, then we have next stage. It's kind of studying, for example, in the college, it's or university. Right, studying university is the stage when you have to communicate with some people, when you have to somehow work with them, and you have to be aware how to communicate properly, to understand each other, right, to I don't regret about words that you said, and this kind of things. And also like teamwork is like crucial to, you know, like force each other do do better, to do their own best, kind of this, you know. and how to affect each other to promote your efficiency, to promote, wait, what? Yeah, to promote quality of the project and everything like this. So yeah, generally how to just develop it, establish some subjects, allocate several hours per week, and start to study it when the children, I guess, is older than 11 years old, like this, and until end to the school, it will be crucial. Alright, that's all for today. This video is pretty long, by the way. Didn't even notice it, but I don't know. I felt that I wanted to say a lot of words that I didn't remember. I don't know. Just now, by the way, I noticed one thing. When I'm studying some words now, currently, nowadays, I'm trying to enrich my vocabulary. When I'm learning it, I'm trying not to use it, but when I trying to use it in my active vocabulary, it's impossible. I don't remember no one word, or I could use it, but I need to stop for 5 seconds to remember this word. Then I need to remember how does it works, and only then how does it work, and only then I could try to say it. So it's a hard process, and when I'm learning new words, I kind of forgot some old words. Yeah, and it's a bit hard. So all right, it's not a big deal, I guess, and that's all for today. Thanks to someone watching, and see you next time.